X-Men, one of the most popular comic books in history. They've been made into cartoons, movies, action figures, among lots of other things. But what I'm here to talk about today is their video games. As of right now, a total of 27 X-Men games have been created, and it's my job to pick out 10 of them and leave the remaining on the shelf. But there has to be some rules to this list. Only X-Men games, not Marvel games that the X-Men appear in. So no Marvel Ultimate Alliance, or Marvel Nemesis, or Marvel vs. Capcom. Only straight up X-Men games. And with that being said, this is Filmtricity's Top 10 X-Men video games. Number 10. What better way to start off this list than with a fighting game? X-Men Next Dimension was simple, yet fun. The character controls were just right, and the special moves were easy to pull off. So you have the option of either playing Versus mode, or going into the main game where it's all about Magneto hatching his latest scheme involving Forge. X-Men Next Dimension may not be talked about very often, but it does earn its spot on this list.
Let's see Cyclops do that.
Number 9. When it comes to Wolverine, I think most people think of a solid action game, which Wolverine's Revenge is, but I think what most people remember from it is the story. During his time with the Weapon X program, Wolverine was infected by a fatal virus. In his quest for a cure, he must face a variety of villains such as Sabretooth, Juggernaut, and Lady Deathstrike. But all is good by the end of the game when he is given an antidote.
Nasty.
An overlooked X-Men game, but it still has a charm nonetheless. Number 8. I think for a lot of us, X-Men on the Genesis was the first X-Men game we ever played, and what a great introduction for the games to follow. In this game, you can play as 4 X-Men: Gambit, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and Cyclops. In fact, I remember this was the first time I had ever even seen Nightcrawler, since I was introduced to X-Men through the 90s cartoon, and he hadn't been shown yet. A feature that I thought was great about this game was that you could call the other X-Men into battle whenever you needed help. Sometimes it was a little annoying that the hit detection was way off, but most of the time I didn't even notice it. The only problem I have with this game is on the 4th level when the only way to get out of this hole is to do a double jump. I can never get it to work correctly, at least with Wolverine that is. I even read how to perform it in the manual, and only once in a blue moon could I get it to work right. I'll just have Cyclops do it. That's called teamwork. Number 7.
Freeze, mutie! Hey, bub, you should have called in sick today.
With a franchise like X-Men, you would think that it would make a great RPG. And it did. In X-Men Legends, you can level up your X-Man to do more damage. And it's cool to have 4 on a team fighting at once. Imagine if X-Men on Genesis was like that. The story, in a similar fashion to Jubilee in the X-Men 90s cartoon, follows Allison Crestmere, also known as Magma, as she is thrown into the exciting world of X-Men. And, of course, she saves the day at the end.
Hey, what's to worry? I'm an X-Man, remember?
Number 6. When it comes to X-Men fighters, you have to pay homage to X-Men Children of the Atom. One could argue that Marvel fighting games wouldn't be what they are today without it. I can't tell you how many coins I put into this machine way back when. It's hard to find anything to complain about this game, except for they need to make more of them. Number 5.
We were genetically engineered to kill guys like you. Bob, I'm one of a kind.
I will say this, X-Men Origins Wolverine is extremely violent, with Wolverine just ripping into people left and right. But that's what makes it cool. Wolverine is supposed to be violent, it's what he's known for. I love the controls in this game, especially the lunge attack Wolverine can do from the other side of the room. You play through the levels that make up Wolverine's past, even though some of it has nothing to do with the movie.
Anna, I need you to close your eyes, and don't open them until I say so, alright?
Okay, Mr. Logan.
I think it's time you punks face someone your own size.
I would also like to say they did a spectacular job making the CGI Wolverine look like Hugh Jackman. Number 4. Trouble's going down on the island of Genosha, and the X-Men are sent in to do the hero work. In X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, you play as Gambit, Psylocke, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Beast. It's interesting how they chose to pull off Cyclops' Optic Blast. It's the same button combinations as Ryu's Fireball. I guess it's kinda fitting, seeing as how they're both made by Capcom. So basically, if you didn't have the manual for when it came out, you would either have to look up how to do it or just push buttons rapidly. Each character must make it through their own unique levels, most of them having Sentinels as the bosses, as they work their way up to Apocalypse. And once you get to them, you can use Beast to hit him straight in the crotch. Ah, that's so satisfying. And just when you thought you've beaten the game, they send you off to Asteroid M to fight Magneto. I love it when they throw in things like that when you think the game's over.
Number 3.
If you were a Super Nintendo fanboy, then it was all about Mutant Apocalypse. But for the Sega fanatics, it was X-Men 2 Clone Wars. I remember pushing reset over and over again to get the character that I wanted, because the second you turn on the console, they start you up in a level and give you a character at random. And after you beat that first level, they'll show you the title screen. It was kinda different. The gameplay is solid. For some reason, Gambit can't do flips like in the first one, but it's not like it breaks the game or anything. I especially love the Sentinel level. The screen is all shaking and it makes you feel disoriented as this building is exploding all around you. It's just a great effect.
Number 2.
What more needs to be said about X-Men Arcade? It set the standard for all beat-em-ups in the early 90s. And while I could just download it over PlayStation Network or Xbox Live, I find to get the true X-Men experience, it's back to the arcade. Just look at this beautiful setup. This is how you play an arcade game. You know, lots of people give Dazzler a lot of crap, but I actually like using her. If you just get all of your opponents on one side of the screen, Dazzler can eliminate all of them. Just watch her wipe the floor with Pyro. Of course it follows that stereotypical format. Kitty Pryde needs saving, the Professor needs saving, but hey, if the formula ain't broke, don't fix it. X-Men Arcade was truly remarkable and stands the test of time as one of the greatest arcade games ever.
Number 1.
Taking X-Men Legends and making it even more awesome by allowing you to play as the villains, X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse was phenomenal, or, dare I say it, uncanny. The story was well put together. Has Beast in fact betrayed the X-Men?
You can't do this! You're an X-Man! You're an X-Man!
And it's great to finally control the X-Men bad guys. They must not know who I am! I'm the Juggernaut! Oh, it's the Juggernaut! X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse has everything you could possibly ask for in an X-Men game, and is my choice as the #1 X-Men game of all time.
I will see to it the X-Men and the Brotherhood are utterly annihilated.
Oh yeah!